we're here celebrating a life well lived. John D. Schleppegrell. He'll be joining us a little later. He had to go fishing right now. So as we're waiting on joining him, I thought I'd just go over some of the basic ideas that are inherent in what brought him onto this earth on February 15th. John was born on February 15th, 1926. So it all starts with this long series of ancestors. I mean, you got to go way back in the ancestry to get this, but I just want to make sure you know it takes two ancestors to have a baby, right? And it takes a lot of sequences of babies and ancestors to get to John D. Schleppegrell. I'm talking a whole lot. So you have to go back 1,000 generations. Those are the human ancestors. Then you got these ape-like ancestors 1,000 generations before that. And you end up with John D. Schleppegrell getting born. But I want you thinking with me, because if any one of those pairs of ancestors changed their mind or had a different style of life and didn't have a baby, John D. Schleppegrell doesn't get born. Any one of those, we just went through 2,000 generations. We went back through tens of thousands of years. And any one, say they got a divorce, or say they were having a bad conflict and got clubbed to death by their neighbor, if that happened, John doesn't get born. But he gets born. It all happens. It happens in synchronism. Each ancestor has a baby from both sides and all that complicated stuff, and it all results in John D. Schleppegrell. February 15th, 1926. The thing is, had John not been born, there are a lot of people in this room who wouldn't even be here. His kids, and when I say your name, just stand up, and I'll only leave you standing for 2 minutes. But his kids, Ronald Schleppegrell, wouldn't be here. Terry Schleppegrell, Linda Schleppegrell, Karen Schleppegrell, and Tammy Schleppegrell. So all of these children aren't here if John's not here. And of course, if they're not here, then their kids aren't here. So there's Amy, and my 2 girls wouldn't be here. And then you wouldn't have Jackson Schleppegrell. He's in South Korea right now, so he couldn't be here, but you wouldn't have him. And then you got the other kids.
Dane.
What? Dane. I almost missed Dane, the main man. They aren't standing when I say their name, so you don't have to stand either, but this is Dane, he's the main man. And it's hard to do this, but so those kids aren't there. But then think about this. Yeah, and then their kids aren't there. But think about them wives wouldn't be there. He had 2 different wives. One was Beverly, one was Bonnie. And then the in-laws wouldn't be there, so Joyce wouldn't be here because the Schleppegrells wouldn't be part of your life. I wouldn't be here because Schleppegrells wouldn't be part of it. So the lives are totally different if you don't have John. So it took that whole chain of ancestors to give us the lives we got. Here we are at that tail end. Without him being born, there's no gathering here at all. I did want everyone here to feel in the depths of your souls that incredible divine mystery that I just described, because that is an incredible divine mystery that all those pieces fell into place and that chain of events played out to give us John. But there's one more perspective I want to give you on John's life, and that's that each year that John lived, he piloted his life on a journey around the sun. And he piloted his life on 93 of these revolutions around the sun. Amy and Jordan, her boyfriend, are going to help with a little demonstration to make sure we get this right. If the basketball was the sun to scale, then the earth is the head of the pin in Amy's hand. And this is to scale. And the earth is 93 feet from the sun. You didn't learn this in school because they don't know how to teach it. But this is how it really works. 93 feet from the sun is the head of that pin. Make sure they can see the head of that pin. Light it up or something. But anyway, the head of the pin, you know how big that is, and you know how big the basketball is. Go ahead and start circling. 93 times John went through this 484 million mile circle. 93 million times. No, I got that wrong. He went around the circle 93 times, and each time was 484 million miles. Yeah, thank you. So if you got that, then you got a couple of points, key points. One is that the universe is mostly empty space. Universe is mostly empty space. We get to thinking that we're here and there's stuff here and that this is what the universe is made of. It ain't made of this. It's made of empty space. Then there's these few exceptions like the sun and the earth just floating out there in the middle of nowhere. And here's John piloting his life through that. And as he pilots along, he has several achievements. He honors us all by serving in World War II. He actually supported the Battle of the Bulge under Patton. Honors us all. Comes back from that service, moves from Minnesota up to Fairbanks, Alaska, and it's about 1950, and he's about 24 years old, and he marries Beverly Carlson. And they start popping out these babies. That's these first 4 babies here. And they make them into a family, and he starts 2 grocery stores to try to support the mouths that are eating. That's a job. One was starts with Badger Road grocery store, and then he starts up the Steve's Market. So he's working as a grocer. And John was the kind of grocer who, if you didn't have any money in your pocket, you can go in and get your groceries. Go in and do it. This is a true story. You just go in, you show him your wallet's empty first. I mean, he's going to be reasonable about it. And if your wallet's empty, John's going to give you the groceries as long as he knows that you're going to make him even on payday. So he starts a Steve's Market too and does the same thing. And he gets a couple of political appointments in Alaska that are amazing. He's leading society in 2 ways. One was he's the first borough chairman of the North Star Borough, Fairbanks, Alaska. And a borough in Alaska is like a county is here. Alaska was one of these last states, and Alaska didn't have any county government. They just had state and city when it all started out. So it's just a great big territory with just state and city government. Well, the state said, you got to have a county government, and the people hated it. They hated one more layer of government, to have a borough government, and John was the first chairman. So his picture is the first picture in downtown Fairbanks. You go to City Hall, his picture's the first one in the long chain of borough chairman. And the reason that his is first is he is the first, and he took that difficult job of taking a bunch of renegade Alaskans and telling them, let's form another layer of government. But he had the vision to see that other layer of government be needed, because some issues just don't follow the boundaries of the state, and they don't follow the boundaries of a city, like flood control. Hell, floods involve several cities frequently, and they might involve a huge part of a state or go across the state lines. So John saw that, and he served as that first borough chairman. Governor Walter Hickel appointed John later to be a rural economic development coordinator, and he worked in Alaska on rural economic development for a couple of years. In the mid-60s, he moved back to Minnesota, and he became the administrator in Shoreview, Minnesota. So he worked in Shoreview, Minnesota. And then he met his wife Bonnie there. And that's this other part of this beloved Schleppegrell family comes from that ancestry. He meets his wife Bonnie, and they have Tammy, and they moved to Hawaii, and he has a career in real estate in Hawaii. I mean, look what I'm going through, man. I'm going through chapters of a life here. Chapters of a life. how would I sum that all up? I'd say you got a guy that he served the public, he did his work, he served in the military, helps provide the society that lets us survive, does a lot of different things. That's a life well lived. And I'd like everyone to just take a moment of silence and think about John giving us this gathering of people here, and think of what it means to us all. We're each traveling around the sun at 66,000 miles an hour. Each one of us is on some revolution in the journey. I just started number 67. It is one hell of a gift to be able to follow the steps that John took on those revolutions. And I'm gonna have Mr. Sanchez come on forward and
behalf of the President of the United States Army, and a grateful nation, please accept this flag as a symbol of our appreciation for your loved one's honorable and faithful service.
They invite him to a party. Everyone here is invited to a blowout party at our house. And so the only requirement really, anyone can come to this party, and we hope you all do. The food will be good and the drinks will flow freely in the spirit of Mr. Schleppegrell. Anything else? Anyone have any comments? Thank you all. Thanks for coming. Be sure and come by for the party.